Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living, with me, Mark Candelaria. I am an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I am the founder and now partner of a fabulous 20-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. We have hosted tours over the last 20 years to Italy, Spain, and soon Napa. And in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. We are excited to now be in our second season, and our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture to all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. So sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. This is how Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. Welcome, everyone, and thanks again for listening to our podcast, Inspiring Living. Welcome to Season 2, and this weekend, Isabel and I are in lovely, cool, and overcast Carmel, California. 59 degrees really feels good, I'll tell you. It is beautiful. It's just fogged in, it's cool, there's a little breeze, and it's just fantastic. We're here relaxing, enjoying some downtime as guests of one of our Candelaria Design and Earth and Images clients, who we are collaborating together with, Santorini Homes, on a beautiful home on Camelback Mountain. But they also have a beautiful home here in Carmel overlooking Carmel Bay, and then bought the home next door, which they have renovated, and we are staying in that home. So we're basically in an Airbnb or a future Airbnb, and it is just absolutely beautiful. So we have the entire home to ourselves, so nice, and so thank you so much to our lovely, lovely clients. We really appreciate it. This is so much fun. This week's podcast is a simulcast with my good friend Renee Dee of ICONIC Magazine, who recorded this podcast with me last weekend, where we are announcing and promoting the new ICONIC House 2, designed by my partner Vivian Ayala and myself for our good friends at TMAC Construction. The ICONIC House will be ready the weekend after Thanksgiving, and everyone will be able to take the tour virtually. So check out the podcast for all the details. This is going to be simply amazing. So we have now zoomed in September, and our Candelaria design team is now in week 25 of working from home. Okay, couple quick announcements. Tune in next Sunday, September 13th, on our Candelaria Design Instagram Live for our cooking class, this time featuring my lovely bride, Isabel, as she will be making her super delicious butternut squash and chicken red chili enchiladas. Okay, that makes me hungry right now. So we will share our recipe for our red chili sauce, homemade from scratch, and then assemble this fantastic dish. So stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. And remember, Sunday, not our typical Saturday. We'll also then upload the edited version on YouTube and our website. So if you miss it, just know you can go to our website, get the recipe, watch the video. It'll all be right there for you. We will let you know what time on the social media, so stay tuned for that so you can join in on the live Instagram. We'll also be celebrating my mom's birthday. I won't say which one it is, but let's just say it's north of 80 now on that episode. So we will have both of our moms in the Candelaria Design Monogram kitchen that morning, along with my dad. So that should be a lot of fun. We'll celebrate Mom's birthday. So join in for that. We can all sing happy birthday to her. Finally, send us your email and sign up for our virtual Candelaria Design Tour Italy, beginning Tuesday, September 29th, and running until my 60th birthday on October 13th, where we can all virtually celebrate from Lake Como, where we were supposed to celebrate, but with travel restrictions to Italy, we'll just have to do it all virtually this year. But now you can all join in, so it should be a lot of fun. We're going to make some fun out of all this. So get on board with that. We will send you an email each day with content from each day of the tour, had we done the actual tour. We will have plenty on social media too, so we will make the best out of the fact we cannot go this year, but we will do it all together virtually. Okay, I want to give you a big thank you to all of you who have been listening to our podcast as our listeners keep growing nicely. We had another amazing month of downloads last month, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you also for the ratings and reviews. I really appreciate those. And here's the deal again. The first review we get dated September 4th or later will receive a free Candelaria Collection pasta maker. So give us some love on those ratings and reviews, and you'll be making pasta with us right away. Trust me, we'll get that pasta maker to you as quickly as we possibly can. We do our best to inspire living in everything we do, from our podcast to our cooking classes to our tours, and of course, with our Candelaria Design homes. Okay, have a great week, everyone. Stay safe, and let's all live our lives with love, compassion, grace, and positivity. Okay, here we go.
And welcome back. This is Renee Dee here with Mark Candelaria. And rather than doing a putt swap, we are doing a joint podcast today to talk about ICONIC House. So I am here in the fantastic, amazing, redesigned, renovated kitchen of Candelaria
Actually, this
Design.
is brand new. We took this space and just grabbed it from the tenants and said, "What are we going to put in here?" I said, "We're putting a kitchen."
It's amazing. It is amazing. In fact, I feel like I'm at home. So how long have you been in here?
We've been in here. How long have we been in here? We moved in here kind of officially right before we left. It's like May, April, May is when we kind of moved in.
Right before you started working from home.
Yeah. It was virtually right when it all happened. Yep.
Yeah, but you guys have been doing some awesome Saturday cooking classes here.
Some little virtual happy hours and virtual cooking classes. We had a great one just yesterday. So it's a lot of fun. We love it.
Very nice. Well, for all of you who are not here, I can tell you that it is absolutely beautiful. What do you say we give a quick little shout out to the amazing people that helped you put this together?
Okay, so I know I'm going to forget some, but right away I'm looking at the wonderful pot filler from
Yeah.
Marsha at Waterworks.
Yep.
Our backsplash tile from Facings of America. The beautiful countertops by Spillman and Stockett Tile and Granite. Cyber Group.
Yep, Cyber
Group. Did all the AV and lighting, which is absolutely phenomenal.
beautiful.
I love doing it all on my iPhone. The cabinets by Dave's Custom Millwork, my good friend there. And then, of course, the appliances from GE or from Monogram.
Yep.
They just go by Monogram. So.
Yep, Monogram. My favorite as well. Yeah, incredible.
And I love using it. We just made some fantastic nachos we're going to delve into here in a little bit. So
yep,
a lot of fun.
I'm excited. So when I get to come over and see Mark for a podcast, you never know what you're going to get. So just so you know, I got an Aperol Spritz as well to go with my nachos.
There you go.
And we have Tiffany Candelaria in the house today as well. So she's here to help us remember anything that we can't remember and to join in.
Yes,
so.
and she does a very good job at that, just by the way.
Yes, she's fantastic. I love the vibe you guys have going on your podcast. I like when you guys go back and forth, especially the whole Oregon thing.
Yeah, we had a good time in
great.
Oregon. McMinnville was a lot of fun, and I love taking the podcast and just the cooking class on the road. And I'm looking forward to this fall doing some cooking classes in some of our clients' completed Candelaria Design kitchens. So that should be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, that's going to keep you busy because you've got a
But
lot
you've
of projects
been at one
on
of
the
those
book.
before.
I have. It was lovely. In fact, we did a beautiful video at their home, and we set the table, and we did a beautiful.
Remember that sunset?
setup. Yeah,
It was like the sunset that never ended.
It went from orange to peach to purple to like there was fuchsia in there. It was gorgeous.
It was amazing. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a fun evening.
Incredible. You're going to have a busy fall, sir, because with all of those houses coming out of the ground, we got another cool one that we're working on. So how about the ICONIC House coming up?
We are so excited about that. My partner, Vivian Ayala, who really was the lead on that project, she is so thrilled to be a part of this, and so am I. I mean, and Tim and his wife, Tracy McCormick of TMAC Construction, they are just the best.
They are. They have been fabulous to work with. I've got to tell you already, the early reviews on the builder relationship have been fantastic. I know the designers are enjoying working with him. Tim and Tracy are really excited to give the designers something meaty to work on. So they're giving them a lot of areas where they can make some decisions in the house, too.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, they're just fun people to be around, and they're just down to earth, very humble, hardworking. They're just the real deal, and I just love that. You talk to them, and it's just like, yep. That's the real answer right there.
Yeah, super straightforward, super organized. They make a great duo. She's been overseeing some of the interiors as well, just to kind of make sure that some of those early selections are taken care of. But Tim is super efficient. I love as kind of a new substantial builder on the scene. My experience working with him is that he's been very responsive. He's currently right now ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
So it's
He
been
moves.
great.
I mean, obviously, I work with a lot of builders out there. This guy just gets things done. You go to his job site, it's impeccable. It's like one of the cleanest job sites I ever go to. And that in itself always tells me something about the builder. So it's just fun to go there. The house is coming along so cool. And I love the aerial videos that we get from Extreme Aerial that he keeps providing us. Those are so fun to watch that house just time lapse into reality.
Well, and it looks huge from the aerial too, doesn't it?
It is huge.
It is huge, but it's about, I mean, you know better than me, but about 11,000 square feet
I think
under
roof.
roof.
I think under roof is about 11,000.
Yeah, it's got a big meaty feel on that lot, so it's actually really nice. So, last December, you and I did our pod swap, and we were talking about the ICONIC house, and I said, I want to make sure that you're the architect on the next one.
We made that happen.
Yep, and you were great to work with me to identify the appropriate project that was going to happen, and so super excited to have you on board. So
it's great to be on board. I always love collaborating with you, you know that, and I'm just so excited about where this whole thing is going to go. I know it's a different world than what it was like when we were talking at our pod swap. And who knows what the world will be like by this time next year. I mean, you just never know. But we're going to make the most out of what we do know and what comes our way. And anything that you do, you always do it first class. And we're just very excited to be a part of this.
Well, thank you. And I feel the same about you. I love collaborating with you, and especially to have Tiffany on board as well. We're going to be a marketing machine this time. It's going to be awesome. So before I ask you a little bit about your inspiration, I just want to share something that's kind of interesting. You addressed it, that these are unusual times, and we don't know what's coming. And so, we've all been in, serious conversations before we ever committed to this as to how we were going to pursue this version of ICONIC House. And what was a very challenging thing that happened last spring turned into the most incredible blessing. And so, as probably everybody on my podcast at least knows, that 2 days before we opened the last designer show house, ICONIC House, we got our stay-at-home orders. So we never opened that house to the public. And so there was a quick pivot, everybody's favorite word, and in less than, 72 hours, I had a virtual tour by video scheduled with models and hair and makeup and wardrobe and the whole thing.
Which was fantastic. You did such a great job with that. I still love watching that video.
I like watching it too. It's just, to me, it gives kind of the nice vibe of what was happening at that house. And showcase the amazing work of what was going on with the designers. And at the time, what I didn't know is that I was really creating a model for a future ICONIC house, because when I did that as a virtual, the idea was let's just respond to what's happening right now. But it really turned into a case study for this is going to be the actual plan and model for how we're going to do this next one.
You reached so many people.
Incredible. Yeah. So I had hoped to get about 5,000 people through that last house. Already right now we're at about 52,000 on the virtual tour. And that's just on the video. Yeah, so that is incredible exposure.
And probably from around the country and maybe even around the world.
Around the country and around the world. We've got an interesting following developing in London. So if you start getting phone calls from London to design homes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I'm going to take credit for it.
That's cool. You just never know. I mean, before you came here, I just got a project in Santa Barbara. So the world's getting a lot smaller really, really quickly.
It is, absolutely. And with so many of us working from home, we're all realizing that, everything is available to us virtually and across the miles. And so it's really turned into quite a nice advantage for ICONIC House. So I'm excited about that. And my commitment is to make sure that the great work of these designers and this wonderful builder and this wonderful architect and Vivian are showcased for the world to see. So
thank you.
On that note, tell us a little bit about ICONIC House.
Well, we had a group that came approach us, Robert Jaffe, Jason, Tim. They all came in and sat down and said, we'd like to work with you on the design of a new spec home in Paradise Valley. And I said, well, let's talk about that. What's it going to be and what's the style? And they said, well, we'd like to know what you think the style should be. And I said, well, what we've seen as the most popular style in the 40 years I've been doing houses is the Santa Barbara style.
Yep.
Okay. But obviously, people want something fresh. They want something light. They want something bright. They want something that's indoor, outdoor. They want these little contemporary elements, but they don't want to be so contemporary. We're seeing a lot of people kind of with a backlash to contemporary because it can be very cold. It can be very, and now everyone's made this new rediscovery of home in the last 6 months.
Yes.
Okay, and it's real, and it's something that I think people want richer materials. They want to have, this is their home. They don't want to feel like something that they're just walking in and looking at. They want to experience it. They want to touch it. They want to feel it. And so what we went with was what we call Mediterranean. Okay, Santa Barbara with a modern twist. And so we've got a little bit of a balance in the pendulum between the Santa Barbara Spanish colonial and this modern interpretation.
Yep.
And I think it's coming together really nice. I think it still has a great feeling of home, but it has some of those great elements that appeal to us with the modern notion.
It does. And so when you go down the Grand Gallery, there's these beautiful barrel vaulted ceilings. And so that to me is so signature Candelaria design when I see those. And but you've got that great modern approach to having a big great room as you come in. The entry to the home.
Indoor, outdoor.
Oh, that's
going to be fun.
It's going to be one of my favorite parts about the house, I can tell.
Well, and I think the game room is going to be fun because I think they're still working the idea of the glass wall between the game room and the garage, so you can be playing pool and seeing your sports cars.
Yep.
So that's going to be cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things.
Yeah.
And for the square footage, I mean, this house is a little under 7,000 square feet, but I really felt from the very first time I walked it that there were so many spaces to be in.
Yeah.
So you've got so many things you can do. There's that beautiful dedicated home office, which this year, more than ever, I think the home office is going to be another hot space to really demonstrate what we're all doing with our home offices since so many of us are working from home.
Yeah, that's definitely changed a lot. And I think the other thing with, obviously now with kids returning back to school in the fall, is the homeschooling area and how you conquer that. So that's another thing that's just really changed. And, of course, we can't forget the kitchen, right?
Yes.
The kitchen with the beautiful breakfast pavilion and the indoor-outdoor bar that opens to the outdoor patio. So it really is this great hub of the whole house.
Yep, and there's an outdoor kitchen, which I know is inspired probably by your love of outdoor cooking.
Can't wait to cook there. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, so there's really some great features. So off that kitchen, there's the command center, that little nook where, who's ever running the house, the leader of the house, has a place to leave, paperwork and things that are essential that you don't want to have all the way back in the office.
Yep.
And then that pantry. There's just that whole kind of complex that sort of leads.
Well, no
the
matter
kitchen
how
area.
big of a house we design, whether it's 20,000 square feet or 2,000 square feet, everyone ends up where?
Kitchen.
The kitchen. Kitchen on. Where does the purse land up? Where does the iPhones land? Where do your bills end up? They all end up that little area that you always are trying to hide at the last second.
Yeah.
So we kind of create this little command center that's a little right around the corner, but right there in the hub where everything does land.
Yeah, super convenient, tucked away. You can't see it, which is great.
Yep.
I also think another favorite space, the way it's evolving, is going to be that. Are you calling it the breakfast nook?
Yeah,
or
the breakfast pavilion.
Breakfast pavilion.
I mean, that's where I think a lot of
go.
dinners will happen in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can you tell us a little bit more about the ceiling details? Great in there.
Yeah, it's just basically you got the little cupola at the top, and Tim just sent me some pictures. He's got it framed, and I what I love about working with him is his excitement.
Yeah.
Because he'll see the details starting to come together, and he sends pictures, and it's just fun to be part of that spirit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he's super excited and very proud of this house.
Yeah, so it's a nice pavilion that just right off the kitchen, right behind the bar. It opens up to the whole patio. It's just a great spot where you can sit in the morning and be out of the sun and look at your beautiful backyard.
Yeah, and the backyard's amazing. I love what's happening with the pool as it's kind of that oasis of blue in the grass. So that's going to be really beautiful too.
It's going to basically be your own private resort.
Yeah, this is a house that really is going to do everything you want to. If you're stuck there, which that would not be a bad thing. If you're stuck there, day in and day out, you've got everything that you need. So it's not like there's really any compromise of spaces of what's happening.
We got some great materials instead of the typical, Spanish barrel clay orange tile roof. We've got this black kind of tile roof, and so it adds that transitional kind of contemporary vibe to the whole house. So I can't wait till all the colors start pulling together, which will be happening pretty soon.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And then I know he's also got some of that Chicago brick. Yeah. That's also been matched to the roof tile, I think.
Yep. Yeah, so you got these great mixtures of materials that give you a little bit of a contemporary, vibe, but not take it all the way to that level. So I just think it's going to be fantastic.
I hope that you hear this word in the very best way that I can say it. This house is super pretty. Like, these spaces are pretty spaces. And you can call them stunning, magnificent, all that. But I think when you've got spaces that are pretty like that, I mean, that's what resonates with my eye so much. It's just a delight to see how it's going. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, we've only just begun here, so we've
No,
got.
it's going to be nice. And I think
Yeah.
what's neat about the house when we were designing it, we really tried to design it for a wide net in terms of user. It's a great family house if you have kids. It can also operate really nicely as an empty nester house where you just have visitors that come and stay, and maybe they come up for the Phoenix Open, and you can kind of put them in their own little pods. And
Yeah.
so I think the house is going to work in a number of ways for a number of different buyers. And what unfortunately, as old as I'm getting, I'm going to be 60 here in another couple months. Can you believe that?
I can't believe it.
So in 40 years of doing this, I've seen my clients go from their 20s to their 60s, And so it's really interesting to just watch the progression of people's lives and how they live through some of these houses. I've had clients that have been in their houses and I've known them that whole time. And it's just interesting to see how the house has evolved over time. And I've taken a lot of that knowledge and really tried to incorporate it into this house. Because to be honest with you, these houses outlive a lot of us.
Right. Yeah.
So they're going to be there long past after we're long gone.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're trying to make it just so, especially now that with COVID and everything that's happened, let's make being home as great of an experience as you can possibly make it.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yep.
I like that. I think that's really what everybody's looking for too. I know you had mentioned, speaking of Candelaria Design Homes, that you are finding that some of your clients, when they're selling their homes and buying other homes, they're looking for homes that you have designed.
Yeah.
But some of your clients are buying Candelaria Design Homes.
Well, we had the podcast swap, right?
Yep.
Well, I've had house swaps.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember one time I had 5 clients basically all rotate and all totally randomly. It wasn't even, they didn't even know each other. One person bought a house, and then they bought a different house where that went vacant, and they all just did this rotation.
That's amazing.
It's crazy. So here's also what's crazy. In the last 3 months, we've had 2 people reach out to us from our website. They go, well, there's a house on your website that we just love. Is it available for sale? I'm like, no. And I said, well, can you ask them if they'd be willing to sell it? Because it's exactly what we want. I'm like, yeah, sure, I guess. So I reached out to them. And actually, it's happened to three clients. And I reached out to them and said, I got someone who wants to buy your house. And they're like, what? No, my house isn't for, I just moved in like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
How much do they want? I said, well, throw a number. I said, well, we put $7 million into it. How about $14 million? Okay, so I went back to him. Yeah, 14's fine. And I go back and say, are you serious? I said, yeah, they just said they'd pay for it. No, we're not selling. Okay, but 2 of my other clients did sell.
Wow.
And they wasn't listed, and they sold. And in the last 3 months, we've sold. I just found another one, so I got to bump my math up. So we've had 9 of our houses sell in the last 3 months for $75 million.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Wow.
do the math. What the net is, it's almost basically $10 million a house.
Yep.
And 3 of those are spec houses. So I know Tim's going to do well with this house.
Yeah.
And the market is just hot. And I think once it gets cold in Philadelphia and Chicago and New York, and we start looking better again, I think this place is going to go nuts.
I think so too. It's going to go fast
crazy.
for sure.
And there's no inventory.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I mean, nationally, there's a 24% shortage of housing, and the demand is 24% higher than it's normally been. So you got a 50 plus offset.
Yeah.
That a house doesn't just happen like nachos in 30 minutes.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It takes
time.
Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all shakes out. And as long as interest rates stay low, well, it's going to keep going. And I don't think they can raise interest rates. I mean, if they got trillions in debt, the debt was going to go berserk. So I think interest rates are going to stay low for a long time.
Yep, I do too. And I think it's going to be a good economy for homes. And obviously I know you guys are busy. One of the things I think about is when we talk about, 5 couples potentially house swapping, literally in a sales thing, what that says to me is that you've really created a brand. Certainly you've created a name for yourself, but you've got a huge team here at this point.
Yeah, we've got a great team here.
An amazing team. And what you've done is created a Candelaria design brand that people are looking at that. When someone says, oh, this is a Candelaria design home, that it means something, that adds value.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't a conscious effort. It's just something, like you said, it just happened over time. And, like I said, I've been at it a long time, so I've been fortunate to have great people work with me that have been with me. Vivian's been with me 20 years. Jeff Kramer's been with me almost 20 years. That's how you do it. You keep people around and people stay. It's so easy for people to hop jobs and it gets tough and they leave. Well, these people never left. They stuck it out during the good times and the bad times.
Yeah.
And because they can do that, that is what makes us such a strong team. Because virtually, I feel we can face anything. And so I'm very fortunate with that. I've been fortunate with great builders. I've worked with just some of the top who have become great friends with. And then you add fantastic designers and finally clients that are just beyond, just some of them have become my best friends.
Yeah.
So I've been very, very lucky. Let's just put it that way.
Well, what do they say? Luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah. Well, I also say hard work makes you really lucky.
Yeah, hard work makes you really lucky. Yeah. It does.
Yeah. So my team all works really hard. I work really hard. That's one of the things I look for in people are the ones that, just want to. This is what they love to do, and it in essence doesn't become work to them. It's just they love what they're doing, and they'll do whatever it takes to get it done.
Yep.
Yep. So.
That's how I feel.
Sorry to go off on that tangent.
No, it's good. You've got an amazing
team. That's what built our brand,
yep.
Really. That's what has done it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, it shows. And obviously, everybody keeps talking about 2020 being such an unusual year. You're having a nice year. And so
we're having one of our best
be
years.
Happier. Yeah.
I mean, we're very fortunate. We're fortunate we're in an industry that has survived this. We're in an industry that we can work virtually. We got a lucky break. I mean, that's basically it, And we don't design restaurants. We don't design hotels. We design houses, and that's where everyone ended up. So it's just, it's just one of those weird freaks of nature that we were just in the right place at the right time doing the right thing.
Yep, absolutely.
So.
Well, I think that karma started well before 2020. Yeah. So.
But I'm so glad people are realizing how important their house is because I really do firmly believe that's where it all starts, and I think. I see the difference, and I've heard it from clients. I've got so many clients that have come back to me. A good example is I had a client from the Midwest that we were drawing all these courtyards off their living spaces on their house, and we're like, well, I'm never going to use these. I mean, what are you doing here? And I said, all right, well, let's scale them back. Let's just do a couple here off your office and off your kitchen, and I thought, all right, whatever. So we did it, and I don't know, 4 or 5 years later, I get a call from them. And they go, remember when we were talking you out of all the courtyards? And I said, yeah, I do. I said, how do you like them? He says, well, I wish you would have left them all that you had planned on because the two we do have, we use them all the time. We absolutely love it. And so it's little things like that I just think people, sometimes I think we all need to awaken to the fact of how our house can affect how we think and live and operate and just our mindset. Yep. Is affected so much by our home, And I think most of us are walking zombies going through life and don't realize we get up, we get showered, we go eat breakfast, and we blaze out of our house in our Porsche, and the car is worth as much as the house in some cases. And then you come back and you throw everything in the command center and you jump into bed and go to bed and just that's all. And then all of a sudden people had to stop.
Yep.
And they're like, wow, this could be really nice, or this room is really nice. And Berghoff, my good friend Jeff, same thing. He said, people are just loving their garden. I mean, they never even noticed them before. He goes, I couldn't believe they never even had been in certain areas. And now they're calling him saying, oh my God, this is so much better. We got to do this and this. And so he said the same thing.
Yeah. I was listening to that podcast that you did with Jeff, and he was saying that that years ago he was making these planter boxes that nobody did anything with. And now they're like, hey, please help us get these things started because we're enjoying our time at home.
Yep.
It really is a very special time for people to connect with what matters. And, when you think about all the challenge that we've been going through, in some ways it's nice that it's given us the ability to have a touch point to things that we care about and the thing that matters to me, which is living beautifully.
Right. And this ICONIC house, I think, really embraces a lot of the things I just talked about. A lot of those elements are really choreographed throughout this whole house. So when we design a house, it's really a thought process of how do I want to wake up in the morning? Where do I want to go to take my shower? And how do I do that? And how do I then go get my cup of coffee? And what am I seeing? What am I experiencing along the way? And so we try to. I don't want to use the right word, manipulate, but in essence, that we're trying to really create this sequence of experience that hopefully you'll get,
Right.
versus just a floor plan that has no life or meaning to it. We want you to go through and every day just go, oh my God, I just love being in this house. I feel so good. It makes me feel, that's
Yeah.
going to affect how you think, how you do deals, how you make love. That's how you cook dinner. I mean, it's going to affect everything that you do in your life.
Yep, absolutely. And I think when it's done very well, people may not even necessarily know what you've done, right?
No, a lot of them don't even realize it.
Yeah, they don't realize it. They're just saying, you know what? For
I
some
feel
reason,
different.
I feel good here. Yeah, I feel good here. Or it works for me, or it's not inconvenient.
Right.
Have you ever been in somebody else's house and you think, oh my gosh, this doesn't work, or like you'll just have like an experience and it's like this whole huge house and I don't even know where to sit down. Where should I sit? And you realize that somehow that choreography of how you experience your home got missed.
Right.
Just because they're big doesn't make them wonderful. They
No.
need to be well designed, and they don't have to be big
No,
to be well designed.
absolutely
either.
not. That's the other big misnomer is everyone thinks, oh yeah, well, 10,000 square foot house is going to have all this great design. I think some of our best houses, in fact, we just had one published in a local magazine here recently, was 2,400 square feet. It was actually 3,000 before we remodeled. We took 600 feet away, and it got published, and it's beautiful. And so, I think people just need to slow down, realize what's going on, and really embrace the idea of letting the architect, letting their designer lead them a little bit, And the other thing that's big for us is about 60% of our work, if not even more, are remodels. And what you just said is you'll walk into some of these houses and they go, we're not really sure. There's a lot of things about this house we don't like. And I walk through and I walk out of there and I'm like, if I had to live in that house every day, I'd go nuts. It's like nothing is organized in terms of the layout of the house. You're walking into weird walls and weird angles. And, all those things I think affect your psyche in some weird way. So
totally. I mean,
it's amazing then when we do ultimately remodel it and then reach back to the client, and they just like, oh my God, I feel so much better in this house now. It's like I just flow. It just feels open, and and you can see you walk in and just like, yeah, okay, this is way better.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I love what we do. I love that it's being more and more recognized and it's being more valued by people.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, design is very important to us in Iconic Life for sure. So we love having the ability to showcase that and to do this Iconic House every single.
I can't wait for people to experience this house.
So from two different perspectives. So one, some of the designers are going to be listening to this because they're still asking, are there any more things we need to know about this house before we get going? If you were to say to the designers what you'd want them to be thinking about or imagining as they're designing, anything you want them to hear from you?
Well, I think it goes back to everything we just talked about. I think it's easy for a designer just to go in there and decorate and put things in, and I hope, my hope is that everyone takes a little time to think about the things I just talked about the experience of the home, and I think if there's a way everyone can kind of even work together a little bit so it doesn't get too hodgepodgey. You know what I'm saying? I think my wish would be that there's a soulfulness to everything, and it's something that Anita Lang always. I like to steal her line on that because it's true. I think if everyone can just really think about the experience that this person's going to have every day in this house and look at it from that perspective, I think that would be my wish.
That's good. Awesome. Well, I'm going to make sure that I share that with them.
Yeah.
And then how about for my readers and all the many, many followers, because we're going to have so many more people go through this designer show house than have ever been through any designer show house in the entire country. Do you realize this house will have more traffic than any of the big designer show houses across the country? We'll see more people than anybody. What do you want the virtual guests to experience?
I think the virtual guest, I would love for them to go through this house and use it as an escape. Use it to just kind of get away, get inspired, just awaken their senses to what good design can bring to them. And then, try to take away ideas and incorporate in their house.
Yep. To get inspired.
Get inspired, yeah. It's like you said, living beautifully. It doesn't matter about the square footage. It matters about just taking that first step. And I think a lot of people they always want to use an excuse not to start living beautifully. You and I have spoken
Yeah.
about this before.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, yeah, I can't live like that. Well, the fact of the matter is, like, for my travels to Italy and Spain and these little tiny spaces that some of these people live in, what they do to make those spaces beautiful is amazing. So I think people just need to start doing something. It's like we always say, just get started.
Yep.
You know, I think you can wait forever and live in just total chaos and just in a horrible versus just taking a couple steps and just do a little here, a little there, and before you know it, your whole room has changed. And you haven't even realized it. You know, but so don't wait. Just start doing something.
Yeah.
Even napkin rings. Just go get some cheap napkin rings and just do something that adds to your house. If you're a guy, maybe, I don't know, get a cool humidor or something, I don't know. Something fun. It's just like, I don't got anything else, but I got this kick-ass humidor,
Yeah. It's funny. I've always thought, even in my own home, that sometimes, you get to a place where you look and you think, geez, I could just use some new placemats and change up the flowers, or just move some of the things that I have, just move them around.
Right.
And for me, just because I pay so much attention to details like this, I feel like I'm in a whole new house.
Sure.
It doesn't take much for me to have a fresh experience.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And this office is a good example. I mean, just the few things we've done here, I want to be here. It's just so much fun to be in here, and it just feels good, and there's great energy, and it's just beautiful, and it's like, I want to work and create,
Yeah,
so
it's good.
It makes a big impact on you, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Design's super important.
Yeah.
So I want to close out by mentioning a little bit about ICONIC HAUS, that our beneficiary is Phoenix Children's Hospital, and you have been very generous to underwrite 3 high-dollar dinners.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
At the ICONIC HAUS, because we don't know how many people will be allowed to gather at one time, but we're assuming very, very, very small. So Mark's going to cook for 3 groups of 10 at the house, which we so appreciate, and those 100% of those proceeds.
Sorry to interrupt you. Well, it's worked in the past. And I'm sure, I know Evelyn knows how to do this, is we've auctioned off those spots.
Yep.
And maybe that's what you're already doing.
Not yet. We're kind of meeting with Tiff today to
so that is work.
Come up with our plan.
We'll say this is it. There's 10 spots. All the benefits go to Children's Hospital. And we just start a minimum bid at, I don't know, $40 or $50 a pop. And we've raised a lot of money doing that for St. Mary's Food Bank and other benefits. So I just got my giant paella pan.
Yay.
And my dream is to have that set up in the entry courtyard out there.
Oh, yeah.
And just when you walk in, that smell of paella is going. You can see the big pan. And I don't know. It's just, I'm getting excited.
Amazing. Good. Well, so that'll be something really fun to look forward to. So basically, the designers are moving in that first week in November, and then we're going to be, quote unquote, virtually open the Friday after Thanksgiving, because nobody's doing Black Friday. And I think it's going to be a great time for people to be able to take a break, just as you said, and escape into being able to see the ICONIC HAUS. So
it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm excited. Well, I appreciate you being such an incredible partner in this and everything. And we're going to get to brainstorming some marketing ideas next. So thanks for having me. Thanks for the Aperol Spritz and the nachos.
Not a bad way to spend a Sunday afternoon, right?
I'm happy. I'm loving it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Bye-bye.
I want to say a big thank you to my good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. I want to thank the Stockett team, along with so many others who contributed to the success of our fabulous demonstration kitchen in our new Candelaria design office expansion. You will have to check out our online video cooking classes, and our kitchen is amazing. I've had the pleasure of working with the Stockett team for nearly 40 years on many spectacular projects, and trust me, they are the epitome of excellence when it comes to tile, marble, and granite work, bar none. Their skill and customer service is impeccable, and the bottom line is they are just good people. I have traveled with, dined with, and just had good times, both personally and professionally, with Dave Stockett and his lovely wife, Becky, and they are the best. When it comes to your next tile and stone project, make sure Stockett Tile and Granite is a part of your team. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.